Have you ever thought about doing Amazon FBA? Well, today I'm gonna walk you through step by step how to do it all with someone who does it from A through Z. Well, this is Eddie Mercado, who's been my friend for 2 years in Las Vegas. He's been doing Amazon FBA for the last 2 to 3 years, and he's going to show you exactly how he got started and where he is now. He actually has 2 warehouses and he's working with a lot of wholesalers and suppliers in the United States to make this happen. If you guys want to see what a really good Amazon FBA store looks like, let's get started. So we just arrived to the warehouse. He's actually inside right now in his office and we're gonna check out his operation. So we'll let you know what he does on a daily basis as an Amazon FBA seller. So,
What's up, bro?
hey man.
Good, good. Good
What's
to
up,
see
guys?
you finally.
This is Eddie right here. Future. I'm just kidding. Future president.
Of the U.S.
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask you some questions. Like, I met you because you were doing my credit repair, right? And then you were doing, when I met you in Hawaii, you started FBA around there?
No, I've been actually doing FBA for 4 years. It's my biggest
Okay.
stream of income. I just don't really talk about it.
Gotcha. So how did you get started into the FBA, and can you explain like how the transition was to where you are now? Because right now you're doing at least 1 to 4K in sales, right?
Yeah, per day.
So like, how did you get to that point?
The way I actually designed my life is obviously you start with credit. If you need credit repair, I got you. If you have good credit, I'll do funding. Then from there, it's like, what do you do with all this credit? What do you do with all this money? Well, you start investing into Amazon FBA. I would say this is my cup of tea.
Yeah.
This is my realm.
So if they have like okay credit, even like a 700 credit score, they can still get funding, right?
Yeah, there's a huge misconception. Even a 680 is a good credit score.
Yeah.
A 680 is a good credit score, and that's coming from me. It's not. It doesn't mean that it's excellent. Banks actually go based off of borrowers' behavior now. So a credit score is just so that it's just a qualification.
Okay.
You know, it's like your financial report card. If you have a 700 credit score, depending on what your credit history is, how many accounts you have, the credit limits, payment history, which is one of the 35% of your credit score, it's your biggest factor. We can apply for funding for you and almost get approved immediately right away.
What are the main reasons like people should get into FBA? Now that we cover the credit and funding, if you were to start over again, right?
Yeah.
Why would you start FBA again?
I would start FBA because well, of course, it's my biggest stream of income. I can work anywhere in the world. Last year, I want to say I was on 28 different airplanes. I don't have to be physically present to sell on Amazon. So I work with Amazon.
Yeah.
I can travel and still get my work done, whether I'm at the airport, whether I'm flying, whether I'm at a different destination. I'm still selling regardless.
Yeah.
So
And
my
then
hustle doesn't stop.
Yeah, I know that you have a second location, which is a warehouse, right?
Yeah.
But for an FBA seller, I believe that you don't even need a warehouse unless you want to, prep your own products. But most of the suppliers and also wholesalers also can prep the product for you and send it to Amazon, right?
Yeah, that's correct. So there's a lot of moving parts, but it's actually very, very simple. I personally like to see my inventory because I like to see the quality of it. Correct. I wouldn't buy glass, but if I was to buy like a dozen pack of glass of like glass cups, I want to know what condition they're in, or even candles because they're meltables. But you don't need a warehouse space. This is actually a luxury. This is just because we're having inventory run in high volume. You can also have Amazon pick up your inventory from the distributor or the manufacturer. Of course, it's going to be more expensive for Amazon to prep the inventory for you. It takes a little bit longer. Or you can also use a prep center, but prep centers are very expensive compared to
they charge
any
like
other thing.
more than $1.
More than $1 per item. Let's say you have on a bulk purchase 1,200 units, and they charge you like even 80 cents per unit. You're already out almost $1,000.
What's your like next goal? Like, what do you want to? Would you be able to show us like your last 30-day sales and like last 12-month sales?
Yeah,
And then how
absolutely.
much is the margin is? So
Let me actually open it up. This is year to date from January 1st till today. I'm at $119,439. My average sell price is $54.07. which if you really think about it, and it's almost a mid-price item. This year I'm focused on volume more than anything, which I'm bouncing between 22 to 24% ROI. So for right now, I'm probably up for the year, maybe like $27,000, which isn't bad.
What about like last year's sales?
Last year's, let's go ahead and do custom.
Yeah.
I did 419,776.
Can you show us the difference between when the inventory hits and when you don't have inventory?
You know the inventory's checking in because we're starting to get relatively low sales, and then you hit a spike. More towards the end of the year, where you see all this volume, mainly and more so happened because I went for a round of funding where I got approved for $127,500 off of 4 different banks, which is actually quite awesome. And that actually led to this big hunch right here.
Can you show us like what's the operation is, like your warehouse? What do you kind of need to start an FBA store?
Yeah, most definitely. Let's go ahead and go to the warehouse. Let's walk over. So we have 2 locations in the warehouse space, but this is basically the warehouse if you guys want to go ahead and make your way in. This right here. So to the right is the prep station. I have my MacBook ready to go. You have your label printer and your box label printer. So the label printer is for each individual unit, each individual item. The box label is for each box label. If you're going to be sending out a pallet, that's for the box labels as well.
So how do you like organize everything on your end? Since you have your store, your student store, when the products come in, they're all labeled and everything, so you know which one is going to who?
Yeah, it's so every box comes in labeled, and because I help my students purchase their own inventory, I already know when everything is coming in. So when the inventory comes in, we put it to the right hand side. Once I prep it, I move it over to the prep station. Once it needs to get shipped out, then we put it on the left hand side. So we're just looping.
One thing I know about FBA is just that like when you don't want to have a product sitting in your warehouse, right?
No.
So guys, as you can see, like you want to get it to Amazon as soon as possible, because if you're thinking it's like, oh, he doesn't have that much product. No, when you get it, you want to get that out in a day or 2 days, in 48 hours. Prep it and send it out to Amazon so you're not holding inventory. Because if you're holding inventory in your warehouse, you're not actually getting paid, right? Or getting sales. So I see you have a forklift right here. So do you have to be certified?
No, so this is a walking stacker. I specifically bought this because I actually found out that I didn't need to be forklift certified. But of course, once the operation starts to get fatter, it's actually almost going to be a requirement.
Okay.
You know, to be forklift certified takes 2 days. It's $400 2-day class. I don't want to do that.
So this looks like it's about like 2,500 square feet.
2,200 square feet.
Okay.
Solid.
But you want to get something that's like 15,000 to 20,000?
Yeah, trying to upgrade to something that's 15,000 square feet. I don't think Las Vegas is the most ideal place to get a warehouse. Mainly and more so because it's going to be pretty expensive to keep everything shelf stable. Because right now is the perfect weather, but in the summer,
it's gonna be hot.
Those are going to be the pretty days. So there's a huge misconception as to having the warehouse a little bit empty. I'm going to go ahead and reiterate. You're losing money if you have inventory sitting, especially if the inventory expires. If you have, let's say, dietary supplements, consumables. If you have, I don't know, anything like grocery and gourmet that has an expiration date, it obviously has an expiration date versus having like dish soap or
technology
or any computers, speakers, cameras, anything of that nature, remotes for some reason. Those don't have an expiration date, but you also don't want to have them sitting. So that's obviously why the warehouse is a little bit empty. The second that the inventory touches ground, that's when I like to ship it out.
So what is a couple of things like people need to know if they want to get into FBA, like advice, kind of like maybe 3 advice on based on your experience, like mistakes you made and then how you overcame it?
Yeah, the mistakes that I made was obviously just blindly purchasing inventory that actually didn't sell. I lost a lot of money. It wasn't up until I got a mentor, which was pricey. So I got a mentor. I also hired a bunch of VAs that I outsource the hard work, and then I just, it's just purchasing the inventory. Once you're able to look for profitable items, you basically teach your VAs exactly how you look for inventory.
And how important, like level 1 to 10, like is your VAs for your business?
Oh, at 10, they do more than I do.
Yeah.
It got to the point where I just signed into my Amazon store on my MacBook for 2 hours a day max. But of course, to get the dopamine levels, I'm on my phone refreshing my Amazon Seller Central account, and it's just like sales going up,
Yeah.
and that's just a typical day for me.
Thank you for hosting us at your office and your warehouse. I learned a lot of stuff from Eddie. I thought I knew everything about FBA. Me and my team actually learned a lot from his training calls that we did. So if you're interested in doing a mentorship with Eddie, he can actually hop on a call with you. We'll put his Instagram right here down below so you can reach out to him. Like, what if I because I want to be taller than you.
Oh,
In the picture.
just hold on to this, I guess.
Yeah.